Hi, Ron. We're back with another question from members. Ron, you mentioned our children will do their own work to ascend with us. I am offering the commands to my children. Is there any suggestions you have to assist them in their preparation and not cross their dominions?
It's a very intelligent question, and one that has some real good understanding. As parents, we have a responsibility for that child to nurture them and love them and to help them grow. A lot of that has to do, and we haven't really known ourselves who we are. So your responsibility is to help your child to know who they are as a child of God, born in the image and likeness of God. They have a God spark. It's all their own. And you're helping them to come to an understanding of who they are is one of your prime responsibilities in life. But of course, you have to know that first. And therefore, when you know who you are, you can help your children to become who they are. Crossing dominion isn't what we're talking about here, um, because it's your responsibility to help them until the age of accountability, they call it. And I don't believe it has so much to do with age. Each child or um, will, and you can see this if you have more than one child. Um, some are easier to deal with, and others are a little bit. Another one, at the same family, might be a little bit more difficult to deal with. And so you work with them and do what you can to help them to grow and mature and meet the full measure of their creation. What is the full measure of their creation? That's a good question to answer to yourself. What is the full measure of my creation? What am I created for? Well, you're in the purity. In your purity, you are pure love. In your God spark, it's pure intelligence. And so it's necessary for you to understand those things. How do you share them with children? We think we have the responsibility to tell other people about things. And that's where you have a problem with cross dominion, crossing into their. If you're invited, like somebody says, we have these questions and answers. And so they have a question, then I'm allowed to cross over into their dominion, if you want to call it that, by answering the question. And I don't reap upon myself any negative experiences because of me trying to um, answer their question. So I've been invited into them. If I'm not invited, sometimes that's a little difficult. And I try to avoid crossing dominions. And yet there's people who depend or want me to talk about things of who they are. And I've written a lot of things, a lot of stuff. And some people have decided that they would like to hold on to what they already have and not explore new ideas and concepts. And it's okay. That's their that's they're being who they are. And they are the ones responsible for their lives, not me. And so when we cross dominions, it usually has to more to do with adults. But your children are your responsibility. And so give them everything they can. Give them everything that they will accept as you come into a greater understanding of yourself and who you are, and allow them the same privilege of having spirit explain to them who they are. And you'll find great joy and happiness when your children come to an understanding of who they are. Some of the greatest joys that they'll have is when they learn to speak to the Spirit and have the Spirit speak to them in their inner ear or in a visit, a, a voice. And it can happen for them. If we really understood the other side of the veil, it's just they're lined up for to talk to us. Can I talk to grandfather from the Chinese dollars? Yes, I do. I had some questions about him the other day, and I had some questions that I asked him, and he gave me his answers about things that were I was concerned about. I know of grandfather, so I could call on him. Jesus was the first one who started talking to me, and there's a, uh, a feeling that I have when that's Jesus. That's different than other people that I talk to. I have my own guidance system, my own soul that gives me the inner guidance, and that's part of who I am. And I honor that. I'm blessed to have that. Uh, they're very, very helpful. If I ask them a question about somebody, they say, "Well, what do you think?" And then I have to go through all of this, and well, I think that I'm mean, and they, well, you're not quite there yet. Um, Give it some more thought and come back again. And that's what I do. Give it more thought and come back. If this question is important to me, then I have to give it more thought and then come back and, oh, this is what I think this is this what you were trying to get me to think about? Yes. Okay. So when I have a director for a CAC that I'm considering to be a director for the CAC, I can ask if this is a good person. And well, how do you feel? And then that's it. That's the questions that they're going to ask. You better be prepared for it. They're not going to tell you that this is a good one to be a CAC director. No, they don't. They don't do that. They ask you how do you feel about it, and they confirm how you're feeling about it. If it's correct, you may have some judgments that you're coming up with, and well, they'll talk to you about your judgments. They want to purify your life, and that's what the heavens do. Anybody that you want to call on, it's just waiting for you to call on them. They love communicating with us. If we only understood how open they are to us and our questions, that's pure love that's coming to us from those divine people, divine essence of who they are. And Jesus is one of the more powerful ones. I I call him Yeshua because that was his name on the earth. He has a spiritual name, which is Sananda, and then he has the name that other people know him on from organized religion, which is Jesus, and he doesn't care which one we use or which one we feel more comfortable using. It doesn't matter. You have a hard time offending the other side of the veil unless you're intending to, and then good luck with that. I hope that helps. But your children have the response. You have the responsibility. Now, let me just say one other thing. I'm offering the commands to my children. I think that's beautiful. Now, do you understand what the command is? I command Prime Creator to do this. Well, you don't command Prime Creator of everything. You are a, an offspring, and that level of pure intelligence that you have from him is who you are. when I use the commands, I I say, I command prime creator, Lord God of my being. Who's the Lord God of my being? That's me. That's my spark. That's who I am. And I can command the Lord God of this being and my portion of prime creator to do certain things for me. I can command that. The word command is oftentimes misunderstood and like you do this as a command, but it's if it's coming from love, then it's the purity that goes through. And ask what you want or command what you want or you need. And if it comes from love, then the blessing is yours. And you can transfer that onto your children. It's a beautiful experience. I'll end with that.
Well said, Ron. Very, very deep. Thank you so much for that. And we'll be right back with more questions from members.
Okay.